Well, what a start it has been to the 2021 Monster Energy Supercross season. Hi, folks. Leigh Diffey, the GOAT, Ricky Carmichael, and Will Christien with you. We gave Daniel Blair the day off. He's been very busy doing other stuff. But, guys, let's get our teeth into what has gone down and what we're looking forward to in this Saturday's third round of the championship. But first up, amazing diversity in the 450 class. You know, 2 races, 2 completely different podiums, 2 different winners. The champ, Eli Tomac, finally won. And when we went off the air on Saturday night, Ricky, we were looking at the championship point scenario and just highlighting how amazingly close it was and still is. But Ken Roczen was the points leader. That now we know is not the case. He was docked 4 championship points for allegedly passing under the red cross flag when the then rookie race leader Chase Sexton went down. You know Ken very well. How do you think he's taken this, and can he respond and rebound from kind of this was a little bit of a gut punch?
Yeah, it certainly was. I'm excited to see how he's going to handle that, Lee. He's pretty outspoken on his social media about what had happened. He didn't agree with it and kind of gave us his take and walked us through what actually happened from his point of view and what he was able to see or not see. For that matter. So I just wonder if he's going to come out and with a vengeance because of that, because he's fired up, mad, and wants to prove a point. And then, if you just have to think if he gets up there on the podium, he's going to be pretty outspoken about it, certainly. 4 points doesn't seem like a lot. However, with as tight as the championship is that you kind of alluded to right at the top of this recording, those could be costly by the time we get to Salt Lake City later on in the series. So that's what I'm looking forward to this final round here in Houston on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? The more things change, the more they stay the same. Last year, after the first 2 rounds, Justin Barsha was the points leader. This year, after the first 2 rounds, Justin Barsha is still the points leader, incredibly close with just 4 points blanketing the top 6 riders in the championship. And interestingly enough, Roczen's actually in a better position as far as the points deficit to the leader than what he was last year, where he was vying for the Monster Energy 450 title. So we'll see how that pans out. Houston has been fantastic. It's great to have the fans back. There's been 10,000 fans capped at these opening couple of rounds. And so we look forward to having the fan involvement again. Will, I want to turn to you and talk about one of the rookies. I mentioned Chase Sexton and his incredible speed, and he was leading until that really frightening crash that he suffered in Tuesday night's race. But fellow rookie aboard the Monster Energy Star Racing Yamaha, Dylan Ferrandis, kind of, you could say, eased into it on Saturday night, but on Tuesday night got his first 450 podium.
And it was all a bit of a surprise, wasn't it? I think not just for us, Lee, it was a surprise for Dylan too. I mean, he's outspoken. He always kind of, wears his emotions on his sleeve, as it were. And when I spoke to him before racing there on Tuesday, he said, I can't believe what happened on Saturday. I'm not, he told us on the podium, I'm not supposed to be here. And in the post-race press conference, he came out with those emotions too. But he did say, and the team said, that he wanted to better what he did on Saturday. And they were a little bit worried about if that was going to put too much pressure on him. And then what do we see? Just an incredible performance there on Tuesday night. And not just a solid performance for a rookie, but a solid performance for a rookie that has lost a lot of time in the off season. He's told us about this hand injury that he had, and he lost a lot of time in December, which, as we know, Ricky, is a very important window for the guys leading up to the first round there. And so I think it was all eyes off him a little bit. Like we thought, yeah, let's see how Dylan does as the season starts to kind of get through. But I don't think, if you guys are in agreement here, that anybody was necessarily expecting that we were going to see that kind of a performance, a second in the second round, especially when some more experienced rookies like Chase Sexton and Adam Cianciarulo, and I say Chase Sexton because he's running his 450 all the way through the pro motocross season, made mistakes in the sand and went down. And this happened to a lot of guys out there. It even happened to the more experienced guys like Zach Osborne. He had issues there in a different area on the track. So to see Dylan Ferrandis get through all of that, and now we're seeing this incredible points leaderboard, like you said, Lee, where we've got 4 points separating 6 guys. Well, second on that points leaderboard is Dylan Ferrandis. And I think if we get to hear from him about how he feels about that, I think we'll see a certain amount of shock from him as much as everyone else. And now the big question, can he take that and not get too overwhelmed and move forward here through the season and actually be a contender?
So I want to turn the page, shift the gears, so to speak, and talk about the 250 East Championship. RC, you won your first 250 main at the age of 17. Jett Lawrence is now a 250 main winner at the age of 17. Kind of, for everybody who's logged on to watch this, tell us what's that like to check that big one, that big first one off the list when you're still a teenager?
Well, it was a special night for Jett Lawrence. And, you know, we've been wondering when we were going to see him finally piece it together. He was so close last year at the Anaheim round, the second Anaheim round, but just an incredible ride. I mean, I am just completely blown away at his maturity level and how smooth he is on the bike at that age of 17. Certainly, I wasn't able to have that much composure. So it's fun to watch. It's comforting to watch, and it's special. I mean, I just go back and I think about the sacrifices that his family has made, Leigh and Will, and you know what they did to put those brothers to where they are now. That to me is a story in itself. I mean, you just have to think that Jett, that was running through his mind, you know, as he was approaching his first win. And so it was probably very emotional for him after the fact, certainly also when he had a time to reflect and just look at what he's been able to do and finally get the job done. Like I said, not only for him, his sponsors, but most importantly, his family.
So just really quickly, his rider coach and mentor was your rider coach and mentor, Johnny O'Mara. Do you see a little bit of you in Jett Lawrence?
Well, I definitely know that Johnny O is telling Jett the very similar things that he was telling me. And you know, Jett's way smoother of a rider, much more talented of a rider, and can do amazing things on the bike compared to myself. But yes, I can see little nuances and how Jett handled himself for that first win while he was capturing that first win, certainly.
And Will, you get to speak with the riders week in, week out. You were down there to see this young man's emotion. What was your take on the Tuesday night race victory?
It was incredible. I was watching him. I was locked onto watching him, Leigh, because I just wanted to see how he was going to handle it. And there was this wonderful mix of realizing that that moment had come, and then you could see there was another side of him that just was in this almost haze a little bit. You know, I kind of, after he'd come off the podium there, I saw him and I congratulated him, and you could see there was this kind of, he almost lost for words, which for Jett Lawrence doesn't happen that often. He's always got something funny to say, but you could just tell how much it meant to him. And when we obviously heard from him post race there as well, I think it was a year and one day, I think, since you know, he was leading there at Anaheim 2 and broke his collarbone and everything. And I think to come back like that a year later and put it together, like you said, Ricky, in just such a wonderful way, winning qualifiers and his heat and the main, just, you know, a stamp on for all that work that he's put in.
By the way, he won in just his 8th 250 Monster Energy Supercross race. There were 9 races in the 250 West Championship that he was competing, and he missed 3 of them. So, you know, you could almost say that he's still won in his rookie year if you look at those numbers, but a remarkable performance. Ricky, before we run out of time, real quick comment from you. The track will change. It'll be a third different design track in as many races to kick off this new season. And an interesting point that you mentioned to me last night, a big point of difference is that when they come blasting off the start gate, it is a right-hander for the first turn as opposed to a left-hander for the first 2 rounds. Big difference?
Yeah, that is a really big difference, and they try to stay away from that just for the fact that it's so much harder to brake for that first corner when it's a right-hander, because your foot is on the foot pegs and actually on the brake, the rear brake, a lot longer than what you would like it to be. So it's certainly going to be tricky. There's no doubt about it. Those guys are always used to going left on the first turn and can kind of keep when the first turn is to the left, they're able to kind of drag the brake and keep their foot on the brake kind of as a security level. not going to be able to really do that quite as easy come this weekend. So excited for the track design, different design, and we'll see what the boys bring.
Well, in the first two races, the first two rounds, there's been two different winners in the 250s and the 450s. We'll see if we can make it 3 from 3 this Saturday night here in Houston. You'll see it live on both Peacock Premium and NBCSN at 8 p.m. Eastern. We'll see you then.
Hi, I'm Will Christien, and thank you all so much for watching. I'm here to remind you to hit subscribe for all the latest Supercross news and highlights. And of course, don't forget to sign up for Peacock Premium. That is now the new home for streaming for all live Supercross events all season long.